When you think of the OU home run queen, you probably think of Jocelyn Allo. But every great player has their predecessor, and for Allo, that was Lauren Chamberlain. Sooner Sports Pad Shannon Earhart got a chance to sit down with Chamberlain and learn how she's still making her mark in the world of softball. Yeah, Abby, obviously Coach Venables is bringing some major changes on the field, and I had the opportunity to sit down with a former Sooner player who Coach has brought in as a mentor. But not a mentor to help players with their game, rather the price they're paid to play it. Check it out. And tonight we're joined here by two members of the OU track and field team, one who's jumping to great lengths for the first time here in Norman, and another who's continuing to sprint through record-breaking times. Welcome to Sooner Sports Pad, Denisha Davidson and DJ Smith. One college basketball coach went viral and landed himself a hefty suspension due to his unsportsmanlike conduct. And Brig, I hear that one of OU's premier programs swept this weekend. Sooners started their weekend off Friday, taking down the Baylor Bears 6-1. Continuing their weekend into Sunday, they took on the 6th-ranked Texas Longhorns for the second time. And let me tell you guys, this was a true rivalry matchup. With tensions high all day, it ultimately came down to true freshman Emma Staker to secure the dub for the Sooners. Something Coach Venables is capitalizing on is setting his players up for when they trade their football helmets for graduation caps. Knowing he couldn't do this alone, Coach brought in a former player who understands the importance of succeeding on and off the field. It's an exciting day here in Norman as new Sooner head coach Brent Venables formally meets Sooner Nation for the first time. I'm here at Jerry World for Big 12 Media Days, where head coach Lincoln Riley took the stage and expressed his excitement over Tennessee transfer Eric Gray stepping on the field for the first time as a Sooner.
OU Nightly's Mady Daddario is live in front of the Everest Training Center with more on today's event. Maddie.
This morning, 10 former Sooners participated in Pro Day here at Everest Training Facility, joined by NFL scouts from all over the country, where they were able to show off all that OU football has taught them. OU's Pro Day consisted of drills such as the vertical jump, the 40-yard dash, and position practice with a variety of players performing in each. The players who participated today were looking to impress NFL scouts and, more importantly, raise their draft stock. But playing for a program like OU has prepared them for moments like this.
It's just football at the end of the day. No need to stress. I'm just out here running routes like I do it every day for years.
We saw impressive performances from players such as Mike Woods, who stayed consistent throughout the morning. Woods himself agreed, saying he was especially happy with his route work today.
And that's what I hang my hat on, so I'm happy with my performance in all areas, but definitely the routes.
And another Sooner who stood out at today's Pro Day didn't even get an invite to the NFL Combine. Later on in sports, OU Nightly's Ben Thomas will let you know who that is and how he performed. Colby Jesse, back to you.
If you want more details on the specifics of how the players did today, OU Nightly's Twitter has all the information.
Gonna wing it for the end zone for Mims. He comes back for it. He caught it! He caught it! Isn't it in? No signal yet. Touchdown!
A voice recognized by almost any OU sports fan, many even calling him the voice of the Sooners, Toby Rowland has made his mark at the University of Oklahoma as a play-by-play analyst for just about every OU sport. But sports journalism wasn't always in Rowland's plan.
I grew up a giant sports fan, like so many that are working in sports. But when I was in college, I was an accounting major at Southern Nazarene University. And I realized my sophomore year that I didn't want to do debits and credits for the rest of my life.
Rowland's love for live sports translated into a new career path, one that exceeded any expectations he had walking through the doors of Sooner Vision 11 years ago.
My dad said, what would be the absolute dream job? What would be the greatest thing you could possibly think of doing for a living? And I said, well, I mean, if I could figure out a way to get paid to go to ball games, that would be the greatest, because I love sports so much. I was eaten up with it.
Being here at Sooner Vision for over a decade now, Rowland has sat in the play-by-play booth at least once for every sport on campus. Being well-versed in so many sports is something Rowland says did not come easy, taking him years to get to the level he's at now.
Practice, repetition. I mean, it's like anything in life. You're not very good at it the first time you try it. And by the time you've done, 1,000 of them or 10,000 of them, you get better. I mean, it's just, that's the way it is. So lots of practice. I think that I had an affinity for it growing up because I loved listening to it on the radio so much. I knew what it was supposed to sound like.
Looking back on his time in sports radio, Roland opens up about some of the struggles he had when first navigating through his own career path, sharing one important thing he wished he knew as a young play-by-play analyst.
Don't worry about trying to act like Bob Berry or trying to be like Joe Buck or whoever. You can never be as good at being them as they are, but nobody can ever be as good at being you as you are. I wish earlier I'd given myself a break and just said, you know what, you're pretty good at this, just be yourself.
For Game Day U, Mady Daddario.